Hey friends, Jonathan Garcia, real estate agent here in Miami, Florida. Thank you for joining or watching my very first market update video, and I hope to see you guys in many more to come in the future. I'm filming right now from this beautiful listing I have in Pinecrest. Still enjoying the beautiful weather outside. Let's get right into the numbers. So what is the flavor right now in the first quarter of this year compared to last quarter last year? It's all about pricing strategy and the right agent that is getting your home exposed to the right people, of course. The pricing strategy, especially in markets where we have a lot of inventory right now, most of the markets right now are buyer's market, and we're gonna go through them. I always tell my sellers, we want to be the price setters, not the price followers, because in a market where you have so much competition and less demand for your home per se, you don't want to be following someone else's sales, because then you're going to end up with less. If it's not a declining market, but you always want to be the price setter, not a price follower, right? So that's what's happening right now in the big picture. I like to talk to you first in the Miami market, in the overall Miami market, and then we'll go to Miami Beach. So let's start with Miami and the condo market under $1 million. You know, a lot of people still have the staying on the sidelines. Are we gonna collapse? Waiting for the next crash to happen. Well, this is a very unleveraged market right now. A lot of people have a lot more equity in their homes, in their properties, in their investment that they did back in 2008. So it's not the same. Sellers don't have to sell, unless of course you, like here and there, you have a little distress. But so we saw in this market specifically, in the condo market in Miami under $1 million, we saw the largest delivery of units between 17 and 18. That has created, thankfully, sort of like they stopped the coming in of so many units. So right now, the inventory was only up this first quarter compared to last year. And even though we have about 5,400 units for sale at the end of the quarter, the prices were a healthy 5% up, both in the average price per square foot and the average sale price. Even though the sales were also down 9%, but we're seeing a flattening of this segment of the market. I see a lot of local people finally pulling the trigger, coming in. A lot of buildings are making themselves available for 3% finances, which makes it easier for the locals to enter this market, because not a lot of people have 20% to put for these condos. So overall, it's heading in the right way. Finally, we were flattening out here. Of course, if we were to zoom in for say in Brickell, we have obviously the highest density of condos there. We would be looking at a little different picture, but overall, even in Brickell and Edgewater, we are seeing a pretty flattening of the market right now, not so much of the retraction. Remember, our peak was 2015. A lot of the correction that we were expecting has already been factored in. The luxury side, which is above $1 million in the condo market in Miami, much different scenario. We have a lot, I would say, a lot of new product in this segment that usually most developers haven't been building this type of product as massively as they did under $1 million. But we did see a lot of new product coming in, and of course it's a much smaller portion of the condo market. Inventory, we saw an increase of 24% in the first quarter compared to last year. We only sold 24 units in the first quarter above $1 million in the condo versus 815 units for sale. But we have a healthy, again, increase in the price per square foot in average sale price. How is that? Well, because as brand new product enters, and even though it's only a few sell, but that already comes in at a higher price per square foot that people are paying right now, instead of like the older product. So that helps in the pricing side of this, even though we still have a lot of inventory. I mean, we have 109 months of inventory in the luxury condo market in Miami. So it's a great time to buy. It's a great time to find deals. Again, if you're priced well, you might be one of these units to sell. Let's jump into the single family home under $1 million. This is a very, very healthy market in Miami. We have seen really nice neighborhoods like the roads, for instance. The roads, nobody was looking at it this road a couple of years ago, and now the minimum price entry is 500, and you have to redo the whole house. So we are seeing in this, it's a very healthy market. It's the only market that is considered seller's market because we have 6 months of inventory. Now, even though the inventory was up, the sales cooled off a little bit, 14% in the first quarter. About 1,200 homes for sale under a million in what's considered Miami, from the Shores to South Grove. But we have a healthy 4% appreciation in both average sale price and price per square foot. Now, what's happening here though, these are signals that we all have to understand, and I hope you get advised well if you're considering selling your home, is when you are looking at a healthy market like this, and then you see inventory going up, and you see a discrepancy growing, the spread between the asking and the sale price, and you're looking at like, my home is not selling, but someone else is, etc. You want to pay attention to this little factor, these indicators for you, because the sellers have gotten a little overly optimistic in this market. You see a lot of people renovating homes, flipping homes, and then you see these homes overpriced, and then that makes the actual buyers that are ready to buy, they sit on the sideline because they're like, well, I don't, I'm getting scared of putting so much money of something, when it's so overpriced. So still a healthy market, but you want to be realistic if you want to sell, okay? So you definitely want expert advice on this. Again, it's a very healthy market. When we go to the luxury market, again, luxury market is where we see the pause all across, even though it's sort of like a fraction in the Miami. Again, this is only the Miami side. Doesn't include South Miami, Pinecrest, those Coral Gables. We closed about with 500 homes for sale above a million, and it was 23% up. And about only 47 of them traded, and we had a decline in 18% in the sales of first quarter. However, we have a pretty flat average price per square foot, and the only thing is, in this sector is where I see the highest discrepancy between the asking and the actual sales. It's about 15 to 20%. So again, pricing. We have about 32 months of inventory right now in the luxury market homes, single family homes. So that is almost double. It's 40% from last year and the same time in the first quarter. So let's just jump real quick now to Miami Beach. Again, let's start with the condo market under a million. This is a very flat market. This is, because we don't see crazy construction in Miami Beach. So the under a million condos are pretty stable. We had 2,400 units for sale. Pretty much no change in the inventory. Sales also flat compared to last year. Both price per square foot and average sale 2% up from last year. Again, very, very stable market. It's also buyer's market, 21 months of inventory. The luxury condos above a million in Miami Beach, I'm sorry. We had a really good first half of last year. Then we cooled off a lot in the second half. And then we've had a pretty good demand in the first quarter of this year. What does that mean? Well, the inventory actually shrank this quarter of condos, just 2%, about 736 units for sale above a million condos, and the sales dropped 9%. So we trade about 66 units traded on above a million in the first quarter. That's 9% down. And even though we saw big sales during the first quarter, the average sale was up 5%. Both average sale price and the average per square foot. It's a bit congested here compared to the less than a million. It's 36 months of inventory right now. Any condos above a million in Miami Beach. Single family homes Miami Beach under a million. Of course, in the single family home in Miami Beach, we know it's a smaller portion of this sector. Is pretty stable again. The inventory was up only 13%, 59 homes for sale, and sales did decrease about 21%. Only 11 homes sold under a million in Miami Beach the first quarter. That is 21% down compared to last year. Price is pretty flat though. There is a really good correlation here in the single family homes under a million between the asking and the sold prices. Again, it's still buyer's market, 17 months of inventory. Last but certainly not least, the luxury market in Miami Beach of single family homes above a million, of course, is the bigger portion, as we all know. The inventory shrank a little bit, 3% compared to the year before. 395 homes for sale at the end of the quarter, above a million. Even though the sales were down 5% from last year, we saw big sales, big pricing, ticket homes sold in the first quarter. All over the news, a lot of executives from New York or the Northeast buying here to make Florida or Miami their primary residence. So what it did was, even though the sales were slightly down from last year, the price per square foot, the average price per square foot was up 19% compared to last year, imagine, and 62% the average sale price of the luxury market in the first quarter compared to last year, because of a lot of spec homes traded, a lot of waterfront homes traded in this first quarter. Of course, also in the Fisher Island, we saw some sales over there that we hadn't seen for a while. So again, the luxury market is what we're seeing, a little more of a pause. But remember, markets don't pause, the markets don't end, they just pause right now. And in this current market, it's all about pricing strategy, good representation, somebody that actually knows what they're doing and advises you well, so you don't stay behind and become a price setter. Nobody wants to be a price setter. So that's I'm sorry, a price follower. That's a wrap, my friends. I will post my notes here in my YouTube channel, and if anything, just I'm always a call away. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.